It is Amanda from AmandaFrancis.com. Today I'm going to tell you about when I learned that I had unconscious racial bias. It's not a pretty story. It's not a great story. I mean, it's a good story, but it's not a story I'm proud of. But I think it will help a lot of people. I told it to a few friends the other day, just in a conversation, and they were like, damn, it makes you think. And I was like, okay. If I think it can help people, then I'll out myself and tell the story. Okay, so I was in grad school. I was living in Dallas. I was pulling into a nice shopping center, Highland Park Village. This was long before I could afford to shop at Highland Park Village, but I would go get Starbucks. I'd get a venti cup of water from Starbucks and work on my business. So one day I'm pulling into Starbucks, and there's a black man in a nice car in front of me. And he is an older gentleman, like kind of taking his time pulling out. It's a pretty tight parking spot, so he's taking his time like pulling out, getting situations so he can pull forward and go past me. And I'm irritated, right? Like I'm super irritated because like I want to do whatever I'm doing. It's a little bit high. I'm pretty fast paced. So I'm like, what is this guy doing? Why is he going so slow? This is so annoying. Come on, guy. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Hurry it up. And then he turns, the light from the sun setting or the sun going down hits his face, and I see that it's a white guy. And in an instant, before I realize it's a white man, I find myself thinking and feeling, Amanda, why were you being so mean to that poor old man trying to back out of his parking spot? And then it hit me that when I thought it was a black man, I was crueler, I was more impatient, I was inconsiderate, I was selfish. And when I saw it was a white man, I felt like I should have been nicer to him. And it was like a moment I couldn't forget. The moment was too clear. It was the same car, the same person, the same scenario. When I thought the skin color was different, I had a different reaction. I went home. I told my boyfriend, I was like, hey, something happened. I told him exactly what happened. And he was like, that's not good. And I was like, I know that's not good. And I was like, I wonder if I do that all the time. How often am I doing things like this? And so I don't know, luckily I was pretty set up for growth, change, self-exploration, and learning what happened, what lived in me, what horrible bias lived in me. So, like I said, I was in grad school at the time, and the first class of my first semester of graduate school, the teacher, the very first day, and this is so her, Mickey Kidron, I'll never forget you. This is so Mickey. Ended up being her teacher assistant and going with her to Israel for a study abroad class and whatever. But Mickey Kidron, first day. We are in the class, and instead of like easing us into grad school that day, Mickey put up a study on the board, and it was something about like how white people perceive being white. And she puts it up on the board, and it was the most interesting thing because in the study, the researchers, I haven't been in graduate school in a long time, the researchers asked people from various races, nationalities, backgrounds, ethnicities, self-identifying in a lot of different ways. They asked people what it meant to be them. What does it mean to be Hispanic? What does it mean to be Black? What does it mean to be Italian? What does it mean to be whatever? And every people group could tell you what it meant to be anything that was part of their background and their identity. They could tell you what it meant. And then you ask white people, what does it mean to be white? And all the white people go, is that a trick question? What do you mean? What does it mean to be white? I mean, they're like, I think it means I'm European descent. I guess it means I'm American. But like, there wasn't a lot of like, it was like the white people just thought it was standard. Being white was just like baseline the way you should be or something, I bet. And then you ask everyone else who participated in this study, what does it mean to be white? And people say it means to be right. It means to not have to defend yourself. It means not have to work as hard. It means to be rich. It means to be all these things. And side note, in Money Mentality Makeover every year, I have Black women go through the course, go through limiting beliefs, and every year the discussion happens one way or another, where someone says, like, I was going through my limiting beliefs, and somewhere in me, I thought to be rich is to be white, or to be Black means I can't be rich, or something like that. And every year we go through and talk about it. And I'm in these groups less and less. My team takes care of the support in our Facebook groups. But I don't think I've ever missed a year of the conversation coming up. And every year I'm like, hey, we need rich, powerful, self-assured women of color, especially Black women. We need women, period, with money, with means, because money is a resource to do more good in the world. And I'm happy you're seeing that you had a belief that said you couldn't have something because of the color of your skin. And the feedback I get is that reworking that belief and going into the world expecting more and presenting yourself for more and believing you can have more creates positive effects in people's lives. So I didn't plan on saying this, but here we are. Do I believe I was set up at an advantage because I'm white? 100%. Do I believe that people of color were set up at a disadvantage? Vast majority of the fucking time, I think that would be accurate. That's the feedback I'm getting. Does that mean you can't have a great life? Does that mean manifestation doesn't work? Does that mean you can't come into your power and create a life for yourself? I think you very much can. Does that mean that there's systemic issues in this country that also need to change? Well, yeah, fucking course. A Black woman messaged me. We're going on so many tangents. A Black woman messaged me in January when I was catching a flight to Australia, and I didn't have the visa I needed ahead of time. I wasn't prepared. Roll up to the airport late. Don't know I need a visa. And I'm standing in line, and the woman helps me, and she helps me get the visa in time. And I fly through security, and I get on the plane, and I tell the story. And a long-term follower and course student who I've known forever, who's called me out several times, and I love it every time she does. Like, it's almost like a rapport we have. She was like, do you see your white privilege in that? And I was like, yeah. I was standing there in line thinking, like, this woman is gonna help. Like, I was thinking, how is my whiteness helping me right now? I'm standing here white, pretty, smiling, with makeup on, happy, with a good attitude, expecting it to work out for me. So I have a choice around, I think people treat me better when I wear makeup. People treat me better when I smile. People treat me better, the whole world treats me better when I expect that everything's working out. People probably also treat me better because I'm white, and I just need to know it. Just like I didn't know that I was treating people differently because they were Black. And who knows how many times I did it in subtle ways my whole life because I didn't think I was doing it. I mean, it's the whole ignorant white girl thing. I have Black friends. Like, I got to Bible college, I made Black friends from America and other countries. I was around Black people for like the first time in my life, other than a few friends I can think of in elementary school. And it was like, the gospel music was so much better than the Christian music I'd been listening to. And they showed me the Medea stage plays, and the food was good. And I was like, I love being around these Black people. And I just thought I was immune. I didn't think I had unconscious racial bias in me. How could I? I love my Black friends. Like, and then I saw myself the day I did. Anyway, so the Australia story. My client, or the girl on my courses who I know, messages me and says, P.S. I want to say right now, this isn't comfortable. I'm afraid of saying something wrong. I'm afraid of saying something else that shows bias or ignorance, and someone's going to have to tell me. This isn't like fun necessarily, but it's important and it's helpful. And because I'm a white person that didn't know, I just know there's a lot of white people who don't know. And until we know, we can't acknowledge. And until we acknowledge, We can't like evaluate and observe what we do. And without that, we can't shift. And without shifting, we can't actually treat the world as equal. And at the very least minimum amount, we have the responsibility to treat everyone as equal. I mean, we need reform and change in so many areas in America, but at the very least, can we view the other humans as equal and equally deserving as compassion and kindness? Because for some reason in my mind, an old white man deserved my compassion more than an old black man. Okay, so back to the story. So she messaged me and says, what about your white privilege here? And I say, yeah, I was sitting there, white, pretty, smiling, in a good mood, expecting the best, wondering how my whiteness was helping me. I was thinking about it in that moment, because that's what happens when you start to think about privilege. You see it all the time. And she said, you're absolutely right. She's like, what you've taught me is it's both. There might be things that aren't set up fairly for me, but I've learned to expect the best in life, and I've learned to believe that people want to help me, and I have that experience more and more, and it's both. So I can't tell someone, I have no place to tell someone how it feels to be anything but white. I only know what it's like to be white. And I've never felt it was my job to tell a black woman how to feel. But my observation through my content is that the empowering messages I teach to everyone apply to everyone. And that black women tell me they feel safe in my communities. And that I don't shy away from, in a lot of lessons, on a lot of courses, I go into it, not as clearly as I'm going to from now on, but I'll say like, hey, life isn't fair. The world wasn't created fairly. Everyone was set up with different disadvantages, because I know my own disadvantages, like the town, the family, the issues, the stuff. Like I know where I perceived myself to be disadvantaged, and like the world wasn't for me. And I can't say what that was and wasn't like for anyone else. But it's pretty fucking obvious when black people are being killed on the street. On the street. When black people are being killed in their apartments, in their homes. Like, white people don't worry about that. I don't worry about a cop breaking into my house because there's a warrant, seeing me and killing me. It's happened on repeat with black Americans. So, okay. So, I don't know what it's like to be anyone's experience besides mine. I can imagine that it fucking sucks to be a black American, not feeling safe. Police don't protect you. We don't treat you fairly. We won't acknowledge it. We act like it's not real. We get defensive. So anyway, white people, we have to think about it. You have to be able to look at yourself. It's not a personal development project. It is a determination and decision to love all humans, treat people fairly, and right wrongs. And when you get on this path of like, I will do my part to right wrongs, everything seems different. Like the legal system seems different. The incarceration madness seems different. Everything just starts to seem different, and you find yourself having a new voice and fighting for your brothers and sisters in a different way because it's your fucking job. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like it's not something I cannot do anymore. So, and that means a lot of things. That means having conversations with a lot of people, friends, family, and the like. It means pointing out bias when I see it. It means pointing out privilege when I see it. It means always having the dialogue within myself. It means being open to feedback. It means always learning more. I finally ordered Right Fragility. It means giving your money accordingly. It might mean protesting. I found the protest to be, and I've only been in 2, but I found the protest to be very empowering for a huge chunk of LA to be out there on the street saying like, no, this is a revolution and the time is now. We're not waiting any longer, and we're not stopping till we hear. We're not stopping till demands are met. Like, this is the people speaking. Like, I found that to be quite powerful. And I think making sure that everyone is safe in your communities and in your worlds, if you have a community. And I don't think I'm getting it perfect, but I think I've learned some things and I've grown, and I think the intentions I've held have created a diverse team, a diverse life, and a diverse community, and I am a bit proud of that. So the rest of the story is, I tell my boyfriend, are you guys keeping up with all those stories? I tell my boyfriend what happened, and he said, that's not good. And I said, I know. And I started observing myself. And the very next, we didn't have semesters in grad school. It was kind of like a trimester thing. The very next time new classes were starting, I took Counseling Diverse Communities. And the professor, Heather McMinn, won't forget ya. The professor sat a group of students around a table and had us all talk about what it was like to be us. And there was enough diversity in that room that I learned my privilege real fast, because we sat there for 8 hours a day, day after day, as she dug into our shit. And I knew what I didn't know. I knew I didn't know. And you can't unsee. You can't unsee and you can't unknow once you know. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I think this might be a bit of a messy vlog. Once again, I don't know what kind of good or bad feedback I might get from it, but that's what happens when you put yourself out there and are willing to be an example for your world. Okay, so right now my team is gonna put a couple Insta story clips, that just things I said on Insta story that a lot of people have asked if they can reshare, and since they're on Insta story, it's hard to reshare without screen recording. So we're gonna put those here so that you can, you can screen record off this, or you can just share this vlog if you want to. Oh, I can be a vlogger kind of person. I never do this. Hit like and share. So if you learn something, like, comment. If someone needs to see this, please share. If you have any resources you want me and my community to know about, leave them in the comments, please. I have 2 Black Lives Matter. Can I also say, Black Lives Matter? How are people arguing that the lives matter? Not just valuable and worthwhile and sacred and lovely and beautiful. Like, Black lives are all of those things, and we're just trying to get people to stop saying all lives matter when we say Black lives matter. So we already act like white lives matter, people. You get that, right? Like, the world acts like white lives matter. A white person dies, we consider it a tragedy. A Black person dies, we say, oh, were they a criminal thug? What were they doing? Well, in these instances where they were sitting in their motherfucking apartments, nothing. They were living their life in their rights fully. Okay, so watch these next 2. Repurpose Insta stories. Let me know anything you want to below. I love you. I'm here. I'm open to answering questions. Look at yourself. Answer the hard questions. Tell the truth. Shift into the person you think you are. Because the world, fuck the world. Black people need us to just do the very basic thing of acknowledging them as worthy of, as white people. Like, come on. I'm not asking really for that much here. I'm gonna say one more thing, then I'm done. So there's been many discussions in my family over a lot of years. Like, me and my sister both explored our privilege in our 20s. Neither of us are shy. Conversations came up around our parents several times. There's a lot of racism on both sides of my family. So yeah, many conversations been had. The other day, I was on the phone with my parents on a Zoom call, and I was like, Mom's family straight up racist, don't care. I was like, Dad, your family's more subtle, but it's fucking there. What was it like for you? What do you think that is? And my dad said, well, I never heard my parents say anything that would have given me the impression to believe they are racist. But the underlying understanding was that Black people were almost human, right? So I just want you to sit with that. What has been said in your family? Ugh, my fucking uncle. My uncle says, they just don't think like us. Be with all of that. Be with what you've heard your whole life. Let it bubble up in you. Let it make you mad. Let it make you frustrated and irritated and enraged. Let it make you feel something. Because then when you feel something, you can do something, you can act, you can look at it, you can care. And you will be able to create actions that stand up for what is fucking right. This is not rocket science, and no one's asking for that much from you. Okay. And okay, here's another thing. Someone told me that white people were afraid to lose. If black people win, white people lose. Fucking no. How about everyone fucking win? And even if that were true, you could handle it. You'll be fine. Okay, I love you. That's enough. Watch the Insta stories. Yeah. Let me know how you go, and I will see you on the social medias. I'm Amanda Francis on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of them. My website is amandafrancis.com. When you land on amandafrancis.com, you can download the Boss Lady Meditation Series. That could be a vibe. And yeah, I love you. Bye. Okay, I had a white client say to me a few minutes ago that she was having conversations with her black clients, and she kept feeling like she couldn't get it right. And she wasn't complaining at all. She's here for it. But she kept being corrected a lot. And so I'm just going to tell a quick story. In 2016, I made a post and I said something like, hey, white people, if you grew up like I did, when you see on the news that a black person died in the ghetto, that's literally what I said. Like, do you feel nothing? But when you hear about a white person dying, do you feel it's a tragedy? And it was just a small example. And a black woman in my courses messaged me and she's like, hey, do you think all black people live in the ghetto? And at first I was like, I'm trying to help. You're making me feel like I just can't do anything right. And then I got over myself because it's a fucking ignorant thing to say. That's like perpetuating a stereotype that is simply not true. So I'll just say this. You're probably going to get it wrong. You're going to need to be corrected. And with every correction, you're going to find out how deeply your bias and your privilege and your prejudice go and how much it's informed the way you see the world. And you're going to learn that you're a bit ignorant and it's going to hurt your ego. And then you're going to take the correction and you're going to do better. So I felt it. I felt that. I'm really trying here and you're making me feel like I just can't get it right. Like, well, you're going to learn more when that happens. So it's like no one's favorite day of the week to be told they're wrong and that they're perpetuating racism and horrible things in this world, but you probably are in subtle ways a lot of the time. So take the feedback as feedback, not that you're a bad and wrong person, and adjust and let's keep going because there is work to do. Hi, good morning. I just want to say, just to be clear, I don't have a problem with call out culture because it makes me uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable all the time. Running this business, has required me to be uncomfortable all the time. Is what it is. I'll be uncomfortable when it comes to using my voice about something that matters to me. I care a lot that Black women feel safe in my community. I've always cared. In the Money Mentality Makeover group, year after year after year after year, Black women talk about their beliefs around being Black and rich. And I've never seen a white person defend themselves or not support them. And I've hoped that I've created safe spaces. And if that hasn't been true for someone, I want to hear about it. I'm okay with calling me or anyone else to teach. I'm here to be educated. I'm here to learn more. A Black woman messaged me last week and said, say person of color when we were talking about person of color, say Black when it's a Black issue. And I was like, you're fucking right. This is a Black issue. Black people are dying on the street. I was like, thank you for correcting me there. I kind of thought POC was like the correct term, but you're right. This is specific. I'll be specific. I learned in that moment. I kept going. I don't know. I'm not saying like, oh, good job me. That's just an example of like, tell me. I want to know. Yes, my problem with being called out yesterday is some white women called me out without checking to see what I was doing first. And it felt like they were calling me out to do the trendy thing. And I'm just like, I'm not here for the trendy thing for the sake of the trendy thing. I never have been. So I keep saying it, but I don't want praise. I'm not doing this I want to do what's right. I want to do my part. I want to do it effectively. I think a couple people have said I'm a little bit too subtle when I talk to white people about what's going on. But I feel like my counseling brain comes in and says, like, get in there, be a little gentle enough for them to listen. And when they listen, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But they have no awareness right now. They're going to shut down and not listen if you don't help them see. So I put like a counselor brain on sometimes when I talk about issues of race and prejudice and privilege. And like, I don't know if my approach is right, but I'm here and I care and I'm open and I'm uncomfortable. I don't care that I'm uncomfortable and people unfollow me. I don't care if people unfollow me. We can do better. I have a sense that no matter what I do, it's not enough. And I still have to give my heart anyway. Even though it won't be enough, it will still be important. And that's that.